Yeah. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Season 2, Baseball Central Podcast, episode number 2. And I'm here with a very special guest. TJ and I have invited on the show our good friend Derek Marsh. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Can we get it right? It's Derek Marshall Jr. for those that
I apologize.
that are new, that aren't familiar with Baseball Central.
I'm going to let TJ kind of explain. TJ, how long have you known Derek for? How long have you known this guy for?
See, I've known Derek. God, we used to come in way.
I was at the old Baseball Central on La Cienega when I was my first year in majors in Little League. And then you guys moved.
But what is that, 11?
I was
11?
like 10 or 11.
He got called up. When you're in Little League, if you're playing majors at 10, that means you got something special. So
Carrying weight, yeah.
So I mean, we've known Derek for a long time. He's been coming in. He started out with like just coming in and then taking lessons a little bit here and there, coming to our summer camps, playing some wiffle ball. Mm-hmm. Eventually being a junior counselor at the summer camp. We're just happy to have him back, and he's giving back to the community here at Baseball Central and the kids that want to get better. So,
Derek, what made you fall in love with baseball? What was it the thing that just made it stand out in your life that made you want to be a baseball guy?
Personally, there wasn't like any other option. I guess.
Did you watch it on TV? What made you fall in love? Was
no.
there some one person that maybe introduced it to you?
Yeah, for sure. My dad. He didn't play when he was a kid. He played football, but he just always, got me going. And I remember the first ball I picked up was a baseball. Like, I played other sports, but just nothing like making contact.
Yeah.
Right?
and talk about contact.
Contact.
This guy right here, dude. He holds the record of exit velocity as of now at 100 miles per hour off the bat, and that's just like easy peasy. I mean, if he really wanted to,
We could
probably turn it up.
Yeah.
But he's got 100. So if anybody wants to come out and try and take, a swipe at the record of 100 on wood bat.
With the thumper still skin.
With the thumper still skin. Was it the thumper still skin? No.
The
that
team was the thumper still skin.
98.
98
He
off the
totally
tee.
duped one of our other employees, Chandler.
Oh,
Chandler was like, what did he say?
Chandler was like, I was warming up just to finish the 90. He was like, bet you won't hit 97, like, within 5 swings. And I'm like,
Totally
I
set
don't
him
know,
up.
man. And then I was like, all right, dude, $20. And then so the first couple ones, I'm like 92, 92, 93. And then like on the 6th or 7th one, it just whack.
Numbers.
9-8.
So just a little hustle,
Yeah.
teach the young ones early, don't
Gotta
Set
make
him
that
up.
paper. Set him up.
don't poke the bear. You can't poke the bear.
Don't poke the bear. Good call.
But anyways, no, he's giving back. We're happy to have Derek back, and he's doing amazing things with the young ones that are trying to get better. So
We love having you around, Derek. You've done awesome, man.
I love
So-
it.
and dude, his swag. He's wet. I'm sorry, he comes in dripping.
Like my jump shot.
Like, dude, really? You ain't got no bag. You ain't got no jump shot. Hey, Derek comes in
I ball
every
with
time.
him.
It's like, like the NBA, they come like they're walking in and they show the video of like them walking
through the
in
tunnel.
through the tunnel.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, they got this drip on. They're like always like super high fashion. That's what I'm always like. Derek pulls up. I'm like, I'm waiting.
It's like some terrible ass.
I'm always waiting. No,
Russell
just-
Westbrook outfit.
Well, yeah, no. It ain't
No
nothing.
holes in my shirts.
Right.
No
Yeah,
holes
it
in
ain't-
my
it ain't none of
It's
that.
subtle. It's subtle.
It's
He has-
subtle.
I've seen it,
But
man.
it's pretty glossy.
He's got it
glossy,
together.
so-
Derek, what was maybe like one of the hardest things for you in baseball that maybe you had to get through, or one thing that helped you realize what it was you really wanted, or what was the hardest part of becoming a Division I athlete?
I think for me, the biggest thing, just like a background of like how my whole process worked out, definitely consistency was the main thing, and not even consistent on the field, consistent first off in the classroom.
Yes.
I could have went to I had a lot of other opportunities when I was, young, being the only sophomore in varsity with like 13 D1 commits, right? Dudes I got to learn
Time
from.
out. You guys had 13 Division I commits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's only 9 players that play, so what were the other dudes, pitchers?
Well, about 4 or 5 were pitchers, and literally every dude on the field was committed to like Dartmouth, USC. We had Quinn Brody, Stanford, Nate Hadley, like dudes who are still playing.
Brody. Wow.
Yeah, so
Cool.
even like Dustin Shirley, Eric Del Prado, like it was just a great group of guys.
The
That's
And-
a
program
legit
was a little
squad,
bit
yeah.
stronger, right? Just seemed like
Yeah.
it was a little bit more.
But no, it was a great time, and just learning from those guys, I guess, definitely helped me. But and then being consistent, like my grade point average wasn't where it needed to be, and schools like USD and things like that in the UC system, if you don't check that box, your name's crossed out automatically.
Sure,
So
I get it.
that was one thing that kind of put me behind the 8 ball. But then not sitting in it, trying to change that around. So once I got my grades together, things started to come around. But I didn't ultimately commit or know where I was going till 2 weeks after my senior season ended.
Oh wow.
So going through that whole process and then being injured half the season in my junior year, breaking my wrist. So then going from senior year, just it was pretty much all or nothing, and I was pretty good about not like kind of worrying about what was going to happen, just only controlling the field, and then
That's a good point for you.
I guess also enjoying the process. Like I feel like a lot of guys, it's awesome. You see dudes who are committed, freshman year to these big schools, but I feel like those dudes have a different level of pressure and things like that. I remember people always come up to me, and I'm at these like scout ball things, and they're like, "Hey man, like where are you committed?" Or like, "What round you think you're gonna go in? What teams are sending you like the
Packets, yeah.
yeah, the packets?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'll go anywhere,
Yeah.
Like my first offer was Coppin State, which is like a small D1 in Baltimore. And it was a good program. The coaches were cool. I just ultimately it wasn't the fit for me, and that's one thing I want the kids to know is, we're all not gonna go to Vandy.
Right. That's the big one. Yeah.
Just like for me, I would have loved to, but for me, I don't think that would have been, that wasn't my journey. My journey was to be somewhere. I wanted to definitely get out of California, unless it was USC.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the biggest thing is enjoying the process too. I loved, people being like, where's this kid gonna go? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, it kind of makes them like question you, like,
Keeps them on the
So
toes.
that was something I just enjoyed the process, and then ultimately, it worked out, and I was able to find my path.
Good.
Why did you want to get out of California?
Just because I never really traveled unless it was out of for baseball, but
Right.
just going all year, and
Change
then
of scenes.
change of scenery, and
Yeah.
then a change of pace. Things
Yeah.
are so quick pace, and you always got to be here and be there. And New Mexico was cool. It was the first place I got to wear red wherever I went. Like I could wear whatever colors, whatever hats. Just because out here you don't want to get mistaken for somebody.
Right.
And that's something I really appreciated. And then the culture there. You walk down, people say hi.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, that's
that was one
strange.
thing.
Strange
My
for
dream
staying.
school was always USC, just because growing up around the area, But I
no
wanted
enough
to
for
get away.
UCLA.
No, I mean I could hear the band play from my house when they're playing football. So like
Oh, okay.
that Reggie Bush era,
that's
that was but no, just the change of scenery and the culture there was something I really appreciated and I enjoyed.
Good. Now let me ask you this: Nevada's in that.
Reno, yeah.
So I coached another kid from Scripps Ranch, a shortstop that was 2 years ahead of Matt Rudick, named Grant Fennell. Grant Fennell. He was the Mountain West Player of the Year.
Oh
in
yeah,
2018.
I remember that name. One of my best.
Left fielder for the Wolfpack. He
Yeah.
went from shortstop out of high school to outfield. But he was the Mountain West Player of the Year, I believe, 2018 Mountain West
was a
Player of
little
the Year.
dirt there. Was
Yeah, so me and Jalen.
Dirt,
Woo!
little dirt,
Alright,
little
dirt.
dirt.
Let's go. Let's see what's up.
So we played Little League, and his dad was our coach,
Mhm.
and we were like 6 years old.
Okay.
And, first like grown man to like ever curse at me, and like before he did it, he told my dad, he was like, "Hey, if I could treat my your son like my son, raise your hand." My dad was like, "Go ahead." But no, me and Dirt, he went to Reno, and we'd always hang out on the road whenever
Cool.
But that's my guy, yeah.
No, you're gonna get better.
It's different because we're in Los Angeles where there's a lot of different areas. Right?
Plethora of people and
Beverly
places,
Hills
yeah.
right here. There's Santa Monica. You got Venice.
South Bay.
You got South Bay. You got
OC, go to the OC.
Compton.
Yeah.
You start getting into some different
South
areas.
LA.
Let's talk about
So-
Huntington Beach having the #1 team in the high school in the country a few years ago, and
Yeah.
they've produced guys like Nolan Arenado, from El
For
Toro. So like
for
Even
sure.
Matt Chapman's down
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
like
El
the area,
Toro, I
like
believe
Newport.
they played. I think on the same high school
But-
teams.
Yeah.
But Derek was a part of we're the Urban Youth Academy, right?
Yeah, I
You
used
do,
to
like,
work
the
out there.
Did you do Rock Stars?
No, I never did. The only chance I had was one. They were down a guy, and they called my dad, and we're like, "Hey, we need a man." And he's like, "You're gonna go play with the Rock Stars." I'm like, "I'm in the show,
Right,
dog.
yeah, right.
I'm in the show."
Yeah.
And all my friends played there. I just never. I didn't gravitate towards travel ball that early.
Yeah.
And then, but the game, my little league, we lost, and like something happened. And I didn't shake like the last dude's hand, and my dad saw it. And we got home. He was like, "You're not playing tomorrow."
Oh damn.
He's like, "You
See?
can't play here. How I expect you to play with those guys, and not even play, just on a respectful level." So like, when you see things like dudes yesterday like tackling runners off like
Oh man, that was uncalled
You know,
for, by the way.
that's-
Oh, the pitcher that tackled.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the context.
Yeah,
or
So a
whatever,
guy hit a
but
homer, and I think around first base maybe there was some
They're
taunting.
John. Yeah, there was.
He
some
was.
John.
I don't even know if it was John. I think it was this physical, like pumping himself up as he was running the bases. And the guy, I watched his body language with no sound on the video to see just what was kind of going on without hearing anything, like no
Pitcher?
yelling. Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of takes a walk around the mound, following him as he's rounding first towards second, and then as he rounds third, the pitcher, you just see like a mental break where he could
He
no
was like,
longer.
"No, I'm gonna go get.
he
this
could no
thing."
longer
we
hold
could,
back.
we could
yeah.
get into
We
that.
could.
Like definitely the way the game has changed from like an entertainment aspect, even at that level.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of weeds out a lot of people who aren't mentally equipped to
Sure.
deal with someone who's either showing them up and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with the movie where old buddy looked at the guy on the rookie and said, "I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast." So shit talking to me was nothing by the time I got
No,
up there.
I kind of loved it. One
Yeah,
time,
That's the best part about it. I mean, like.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Even like in San Diego, one of my bats is like runner on like second with like 2 outs. I got like 2 strikes on me, and we're I think the game we're down 1, right? And then I step out and I'm like, all right, 2 strikes. This guy's pretty good.
Right.
I mean, let me bear down right here. And they're
Sure.
like, and this dude down the line goes, "What? You weren't too good to play in California? Like you had to go to New Mexico?"
Yeah.
And then I was like, what? I got in and seed up the middle,
See
right?
him.
And then you just like, you look over there, but never anything like,
I'm gonna go touch
giving
him.
them the bird.
Right. It's a
dog.
a
Certain
competitive
level-
nature where
Yeah.
you talk with your game, and you might even chirp a little bit,
I
but
hope your game backs it up.
but sometimes when it goes back and forth like that, and it's just it becomes
But
heated.
I'm
But
also not that guy to let it get to that level. Like I'm the dude at first base. You come up, it's like,
yeah,
how we doing, baby?
yeah.
Man, yeah.
Right.
Good.
No,
We'll see you tonight.
That's
We'll
it
see
tonight. That's it.
Yeah.
No, I think it's important to keep it competitive all the way through. I mean, we always had the coaches that would be like, "Hey, take him out to dinner. Hey, why don't you take him out to dinner afterwards too?" Like, 'cause
Yeah.
if you start talking a little too
Too
much,
friendly.
you get too friendly, then it's
Yeah.
so. I'm from a little bit more old school baseball and then sports. I used to my coaches used to get in my ass.
Sure.
My football coaches, my basketball coaches would be like.
We're not friends,
but,
yeah.
but it was like I was like, yeah, okay, shit, let me step up. Then I'd never.
They challenged you,
cower.
yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
never
and I
cower.
gravitate towards that. People who
Some people
like,
do.
You can't do it.
Some people don't.
So some people, and you never know the context behind like stories like that. But I just think at any given point, that's just like pretty much unacceptable. Instead,
I
like
agree.
maybe throwing at a guy,
Uncalled for
uncalled
sure.
for, or something like that. Things can get hectic that way when someone can get hurt.
Yeah.
But just to have a breakdown and not only give away the game and let down your team, but
Yeah,
your
you don't
opportunity
wanna-
to play the sport, right? It's
Sure.
a privilege at the end of the
you
day.
don't
So,
want it to cost you.
So learn
no,
from
but
that.
I hope there are second chances. I hope that guy gets a chance to bounce back. And I mean, if he,
Hopefully.
yeah. So hopefully.
Hopefully, it's not like we're like the one guy. Sorry, and one more. The
No.
one
Go
story
ahead.
where like
Go ahead.
the one hitter gets like thrown at, he misses it, but then he goes and does like he kicks the catcher right, and then. Do
Oh yeah.
you remember that
The one that
Yeah, I
makes me the
remember that
most,
one.
the one that makes
He
me
was
so
done
angry.
after
I
that.
think that was in
He was done.
Japanese league, wasn't it?
No, this
no.
was minors, and this
Okay.
was like early 2000s.
Like he
There's two-
Sparta kicked the
there's
guy.
two really bad ones.
Charged the pitcher. He
There's
was on a mission.
Two
He knew it was
horrible
happening.
equipment uses that I've ever seen towards an umpire and one towards a player. Okay, Delman Young strikes out in Durham AAA,
Goes to
walks to
the
the dugout, turns around, flicks the
Yeah.
bat at the umpire, spinning like this, hits him square in the chest. 50-game suspension.
Yeah.
Oh no,
for that.
I got one worse.
Hold on. Let me finish. I got one more.
Oh, no.
I got one.
The other one that
for
really
you.
pissed me off was when Manny Machado just threw the bat at the third baseman, just whiffed on the
Oh,
swing and
that
just
was
let it
already
go.
after the whole Donald.
I don't care who you are,
or
what you are. If you do that, dude, we're gonna have problems.
And the just because I was first, and the ankle.
And then he stepped on
Yeah.
Aguilar's ankle. If I was Aguilar, I would have been swinging right away. But hats off to Aguilar for being a bigger man.
That's just like that. You can't help it, but you get caught. What's the basketball
That was uncalled
player?
for.
Grayson, remember that guy who just
Grayson
always
Allen,
like,
yeah.
just
Oh, a little
just,
swipe
just
of the
always
elbow.
a little swipe of something. Like he was the like not
Just
not
doing
the what
grimy
was it?
stuff.
What do they call it in hockey?
Checking people.
No, they call it the person, and I know there's people out
They're
there.
like
They're like the enforcer, or they're just like the
the
dirtbag
instigator or something?
instigator. I can't comment in the section
because we're not
because-
in depth on hockey, but
But
we
I
do
know
love
that
it.
there's that person that just goes around and just aggravates people. It's fucking
My
Tell your
craziest
story,
one
yes.
wasn't even a player. So I played my first year.
fan.
A coach.
Oh no,
So
dude.
I was playing in Virginia Beach for my first like summer league, and the coach, I guess he got a bad call or whatever, and he lost it, and he goes in the dugout, grabs a bat, and just flings it, hits the pitcher in the head
no.
of the other team.
No way.
What?
And then,
No way.
And then he got like an assault charge.
Well,
Yeah, he's
yeah,
gone.
yeah.
He's gone.
And the
That's
team
not good.
couldn't play because they didn't have like they were looking for a coach,
Oh,
and
man.
but like even that was like, dude, like
Kids, learn from this. You don't have to do dumb stuff because it doesn't go your way. Okay.
No, but
Be a
listen,
bigger person.
Trust me, when I was coaching high school baseball, I was still. It felt like I wasn't that far removed, and I was still like, I'd almost want to start like chirping and talk shit, and I'm like, I can't. I'm a coach. I can't talk
Right.
trash.
You can't talk trash to
But I
kids, yeah.
loved the game so much, and I was like, I wanted to be like, yeah, what, like, like,
yeah.
and
I get it.
Anyways,
It's just competitive nature, and I hope you have it too. Derek, we were talking earlier about you going Division I and what it takes to get to Division I baseball, and tell us a little bit more about how your journey ended and where you kind of segue into coaching, or when you left New Mexico, what happened? after that?
about your D1.
Yeah, if you haven't been to Albuquerque, I don't think everyone has, unless you went to
Been
High
there.
High
Been
Desert.
there.
the Breaking Bad house.
Yeah.
No, it was cool. So where the field is adjacent to the AAA Isotopes.
Oh wow.
So we would go to the games and we see these guys and dudes who used to play at UNM, and we go watch them and like, dude, it's easier to vision like, dude, this is where I want to be. This is like, look at these dudes, the way they carry themselves. You run into them, when you're out, and they were cool. They're like, hey man, I know who you are. We don't have to talk about baseball right now, but like, but just the process, like the grind of, just so for kids who want to know what D1 is like, right? As soon as you get there, the second day of school is 5 a.m. weights, class 8 to 12, practice 2 to 6, study hall 6 to 8, sleep, and then we're doing it all again 4 or 5 days a week. And then you've got 14 inning scrimmages, 10 inning scrimmages on the weekends. So
That's a lot.
it's mentally taxing, but
That's a lot.
that's something that I signed up for. You
Right.
know, I didn't go out there wanting to be like, oh, I want to go to UNM for the business program, which was actually a good program. But I enjoyed the getting up and working out while everyone was sleeping.
Yeah.
And then I ended up redshirting my first year, which was honestly the best thing ever. I was able to get my body right, get rid of some baby fat, and then I came back lifting 2-3 times as much.
Good.
And then I ended up as a redshirt freshman playing like 35 games, transitioning to the outfield.
Mhm.
Right, just you got to get your bat in the lineup. You got to be able to be adjustable and versatile. That's what coaches are going to gravitate towards.
Oh yeah.
And then ultimately, things didn't click, and it was my time to move on. They were going a different direction with the program, and I completely understand. At the end of the day, they're running a business. It's hard to manage 11.7 scholarships.
It's not
When
easy,
you get 60, 70 guys in the fall, like we're all cool, but
That's crazy.
hey, dude, like
That's
if it's
it.
gonna be me or you, it's gonna be
It
me.
becomes,
Yeah.
it
So
becomes
then-
a battle.
Wait till
And-
it's grown men where they have families.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, yeah, and,
And
it's
then-
the money and livelihoods.
Yeah, and then
They get salty.
definitely the thing that made it a no doubter to come back home, and I went to Cal Poly Pomona was after my father passed. I wanted to come back home, and I was always away. I was playing summer ball. I was home 3 weeks, maybe a month out of every year. So I think being back home was definitely, from a mental aspect, what I needed. And the coach at Cal Poly Pomona, Coach Benton, I would recommend, anyone who's looking to play at a competitive D2. We're playing UCSB, Chico State, Point Loma. Like those are good competitive schools.
Oh, you played at Point Loma Nazarene.
Yeah,
That feels cool.
And
Right there on the water in San
when you
Diego.
play those schools, these are schools that would compete with any mid-major D1.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just, at the end of the day, it's a business, and some people know guys, and that's how they get in.
Yeah.
But that coach, he taught me more.
Is Cal Baptist in that league?
No, they're in a different league, but
Gotcha, okay.
he was amazing. He got me to get my mental aspect right, and I'll forever be grateful for that. That was one thing I loved about going to Cal Poly is when they called me on the phone. At New Mexico, a lot of times they're trying to be the same hitter, and that was one thing that was frustrating for me is how to master this technical way of hitting.
Do they have a style?
Yeah, it was everyone has to hit the same. So all the drills we do, there's nobody who's like, hey, your backside's delayed, so you're gonna have to do this, and your approach is gonna have to be, burn the center fielder with a line drive. For me, I had to be dead set right center, and then that geared my swing to play a big part of the field.
Gap to gap.
But for the coach, our head coach was our hitting coach, so if you didn't do the things the way he wanted, it was
put you
noted.
down, yeah.
Right.
But other programs, you have a hitting coach who
that's
it's
rough.
his job they're going to take that recommendation from the hitting coach. So
Sure.
that was one thing that was somewhat neglected. But when I went to Cal Poly, they were like, hey, you're going to come here and you're not going to hit. If you hit for average, that's fine. But, we want this certain amount of RBIs.
Driving 75
And,
rounds.
I ended up hitting second, when I got there. And,
Nice.
And it was cool. It was awesome.
Overall Division I experience, plus or minus?
Plus, just being able to travel and play like Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
my first game against Texas Tech,
Texas
they got
Tech.
the video board and they
Dude,
brought
they
a
got this-
horse on the field.
Tell me your experience as a player at Texas Tech, because I don't know if they do the same thing.
I was more in awe of the way they ran the program. They run that like a big league.
Is it
club.
Still, it's still turf field or no?
I think so.
It's
Texas-
yeah.
do you remember?
I think so. They don't, because it dries out
I
out
don't
there.
even
So
remember. Yeah, the mound's dirt though, and it's like literally
Yeah.
it's a humongous hill. And I don't know why they don't it's not regulation.
Yeah.
It's like he's throwing.
it's
like,
a home field
The
advantage.
downward, it's
Yeah.
a downward angle
No,
like
literally.
this, and they're like, yeah, that's a.
Get level with the ball.
And they,
Yeah.
and they had a dude who was he was like 99, big
Oh
build.
my god.
And I get up 5 straight sliders. Yeah, and then they played us, and they left a scouting
That's
a
rude.
report, and I saw my first
They-
big
they
a
wrote-
big school like that. Like I
Wow.
wanted to see my scouting report,
They
and it was
wrote-
literally like plus power, hammers, elevated fastball, show one, sliders away.
All
Like
day.
and
See?
and that was something
See?
the game speeds up on you. You don't have to get a chance to. But now I'm like, why didn't I just sit on that? But seeing like playing schools like that and traveling on flights and like, it was a great. And the dudes I met there, like I got guys I talk to every day from that
Good.
school, and
Good.
Cal Poly the same. But no, the culture was amazing, and it was something I'll never give up.
Awesome.
Awesome experience, man. Glad you
Glad-
got
yeah.
to enjoy it.
Because he was signed to go to a Division I school. I was signed to go to a Division I school. We both ended up playing
Where were
pro
you
ball.
signed to?
I was signed to go to University of Toledo.
Oh,
on
what?
a full ride.
You were a Rocket?
Yeah,
A Rocket?
I was gonna be a Rocket.
Wow.
And so actually, I signed like late or my senior year. I wasn't
Cool.
getting any looks, and I started
You
doing
were at
well.
Toledo Rocket.
I was gonna go to the University of Toledo, and they're like, "Oh, we'll give you this half scholarship."
Badass, man.
Then I got drafted, and I went and played at this top 40 seniors all-star game in Coors Field. Had a great game. The
Cool.
college coach flew out to watch me. He's like, "Hey, we want to give you a full ride." I'm like, "Sweet."
Wow.
And then I got this itch to play pro ball, and I signed down to a JUCO.
It was
Went
in
to
your
Howard.
pedigree, though. It was in your
Oh, you went to
pedigree.
Howard
I
in
went
Texas?
to Howard in Texas. So I was supposed to go to UT or University of Toledo. And
A
then
lot
I
of dudes
signed-
from New Mexico went to
and I
Howard.
signed down. So, and he was going to go to Oregon State.
Isn't that a JUCO?
Let me tell you guys a story. Let me tell you guys
A small JUCO
Yes, it
called
was a small
Vanderbilt.
JUCO.
That's the last.
That's the last
called.
called. Reagaden.
That's the laugh of that's the laugh of some
Or I
guys.
got
They're just laughing because my team's ranked second in the country.
Oh,
right now.
oh, here we go.
Number 2 in the country right now.
He played
Three
for
national championships
Wait,
in
wait,
12
the
years.
Pepsi Challengers.
Beavers are number
Shout
2.
out Drew Cowley. He went to Cal Poly. He's at Oregon now. Just bopping.
Dropping bops.
Anyways,
Love
no,
that.
so that's why it is cool because I mean, look, I wanted to go D1. I always liked ASU. I wanted to go
Oh, yeah.
to Georgia Tech because I think
yeah.
Veritech was there.
Yeah.
There, Georgia. I
And
didn't-
Nomar went there as well.
Nomar went there,
Yeah.
and so that was like kind of my era. I didn't get
They were big.
started. I started getting letters, honestly. So I'm like, okay, I'll sign with University of Toledo. I swear to God, the next
UT.
day,
Texas came
people
in.
start Rice calls, Gonzaga calls. I'm like,
Oh,
Where-
Rice.
The mailman's probably
Where
like,
were you
yo,
guys?
what does this do? Like,
Well,
can I get
just-
your
it was-
autograph?
It was kind of weird, and so I'm like, okay, that's cool. It sucks because I already committed, but it all worked out the way it's supposed to.
That's what I don't get is that, because I'm not going to name any schools, but I heard a lot of stories where dudes will sign and they have like 50 commits and they'll be like, we didn't get your letter. Like,
That's some Urban Meyer.
And,
That's
and,
Urban Meyer.
and so that's crazy that they could do that to you. Like, hey, we
Urban
got to
Meyer
take
did
this
that
back,
at
but
Ohio
you
State.
can't be like, you
When
know
he
what,
came
I'm
to
going to
Florida.
decommit.
But you couldn't decommit, and that's the thing. Because I was like, well, I wanted to go to this place. I thought I'd rather go to that school, but
That's some Urban Meyer move, dude. When he went from Florida to Ohio State, he told guys that were on scholarship, hey, dude, I didn't recruit you. I'm taking your scholarship away, and ripped it from him. Couldn't believe that. Look, the one time I got recruited by San Diego State in high school, they showed up to watch me play the Aztecs. I struck out 3 times in a row against the top pitcher in our league, who ended up being an absolute stud, who could have been a professional pitcher, but he had some off-the-field issues. I'm not going to name his name, but I played for a coach named Marty Lees, who ended up being Oregon State's head assistant coach. That's who I signed with for 65%. Marty ended up leaving to go to Oklahoma State for 5 years, and then was Washington State's coach the last 3 or 4 years. Maybe now he's been 2 years away from there. So he's. I owe Marty Lees a big thank you for helping me on the Eugene Pepsi Challengers get recruited by Oregon State Beavers, because he was my in. He was the volunteer assistant at Oregon State at the time. You know, I was bummed to hear Aztecs didn't want me because San Diego State was like Tony Gwynn, and like hearing all about that was so cool. But I struck out 3 times when they came to recruit me, and they were like, we don't like him. So
Who's
they
Tony
let me
Gwynn?
go.
who's Tony?
I had
9 times.
Who's
Silver
Tony
Slugger.
Gwen? Do you know who Tony Gwen is?
I also got offered by Wake Forest
Are you paying
75%.
attention? Wait, really?
Yeah, Wake Forest offered me 75%, but I turned it down because I was already signed with Oregon State. And Darwin Barney got the other half of the scholarship that was
Lies.
offered. So
Cap.
Yeah.
that's disrespectful.
that's disrespectful.
I worked my whole life for that scholarship.
I know you did.
I worked my whole life for that scholarship to
Absolutely
be able to
did.
say I could get it. And then
We can do that with each other because we all
Yeah.
know that we
It's
I hope you
not-
don't tackle me.
No, it's not beef.
we all
It's not
belong
beef.
in the same room
Because
we
it all
were
trans-
almost great.
It all translated into money
We're
later.
great now.
When I signed, they gave me money for school, so it didn't matter. So it was all good. That worked out.
I had a friend who he ended up going to San Diego State, and I was like, dude, like, what was their trip like? Like, what? You mean Tony? You know,
Yeah,
Tony?
right.
You know, you call him
Yeah.
Tony or Tone or what?
Tony
Gwynn?
TG?
Yeah, TG. He's like, dude, I walked in there, and he's just sitting there, laying back, being cool. He's like, you want to be an Aztec? He's like, I said yes. I had to.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was
yeah.
like, if you said
Tony
no,
Gwen,
then
if
like,
you have it up, yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
like how do you say no? Like
He's a legend, yeah.
That's the best recruiting like tactic ever. Like, hey, Tony wants to talk to you. Do you want to be an Aztec?
Yes, please.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Unless he pulls the Nick Saban out where he's got 6 national championship rings. Then that changes
Well,
things.
I mean, dude, it's
How
Tony
many college
Gwen.
coaches
If it's
have
Tony
that?
Gwen asking you, if
I
you
would
wanna
do
be,
anything Tony
Yeah.
Gwen asked me.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
100%.
Huge fan of that guy. All right, guys, we got a little surprise for you. Thanks for sticking around with us. We got a little giveaway here for you on our second episode. We mentioned last time about Wave Bats catching barrels, and this is a new bat company that's going to be sold out of BC here, like we said. TJ, why don't you let them know about what we have here for them and what the plan is to get yourself
You
your
guys
own
have
custom.
heard. You guys have heard about what's happening as far as the Wave Bat Co. Okay, we talked about it in the last episode, but here's the thing: we are going to be giving away a custom Wave Bat to
Wave
whoever follows, subscribes.
You got to subscribe,
You got to
comment
on
every video
every episode of season 2.
of season 2.
And you will be in a drawing. I mean, it could be like one person. It could be, and you would win. But if there's 2 or 3, you guys will go into a hat. We'll pull it out. If you win, you will get your own custom Wave Bat to your specifications. whether it be color, and this is basically what we got here is
Speak to,
this is a bomb pop model, right? And so what, again, Wave Batco, and the whole take is that we want to catch barrels, right? When you go surfing, you're in the ocean, you want to surf, you want to catch a barrel, right? That's the best part. It just almost takes you.
Get
When you
pitted.
You get pitted, bro.
Get pitted, bro.
Get pitted. Anyways, so you catch barrel, okay? The bomb pop reminds me of an ice cream truck that's maybe rolling around the
on a
hood.
hot summer
Hot
day.
summer day. Maybe it's at the beach. You get some sand on it. You just dust that off. And lick it, and you're good to go. So, what do you got? What's the question?
My question is,
Tell me.
I want the fans to know the creative mind behind the colorways, right? Because we're in a this is a
where are we?
definite-
Where are we?
We're in
You
a
know,
custom
like-
era.
But where are we in geographically speaking?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. So we're in Los Angeles here, obviously, if you guys have not figured that out yet. And it's California, and we're really close to the beach. And again, the play on words of catching barrels makes sense on both regard as far as baseball, because you want to hit the ball on the sweet spot, which is catch and barrel. And then if you're surfing, if you can get into it,
Get pitted, bro.
we're gonna catch barrels. But like I said, it feels good on both sides. So, I mean,
If you want to catch barrels like Vlad Guerrero, who had 158 barrels caught last year, leading the major leagues, swing a wave bat.
swing a wave bat. But it's gonna be super customization. We want to, look. I'm not hand turning the bats. No one here is making bats in the back with a lathe.
No lathing.
No lathing. Now,
If you're in lathing in Las Vegas, that's another
brainstorm.
podcast.
Bing.
It's another
Anyway,
podcast.
so we're going to be doing a lot of one-of-ones. Every bat that you will be able to purchase, whether you're here or online, they're all going to be one-of-one. There's not going to be any duplicates. So
You could be here. You could be there. You could get a wave bat if you don't stare.
that was all right.
And they're all gonna
It
have
wasn't good.
names,
It
right?
wasn't
They're all
good.
going to have names. So, for instance, there's a lot of prototypes. We're not going to break everything out right now, but this one right here that Mr. Ryan Royster has is the bomb pop. Hot summer day, yummy.
What about the Sandman?
The Sandman.
Enter Sandman is what it's called. Enter Sandman.
Wow.
Yeah.
To me. But anyways, comment on every episode.
Get you one.
You could say you guys suck. You could say you guys suck on every episode, and you're in the drawing at the end. Hope you win it.
Oh, thanks
Hope you
for-
win it, because you want to know what? I'll send it to you, super custom, and it'll say you suck. Right? So
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
thanks for tuning in, you guys.
Derek,
Thank you.
thanks for joining
Derek
us
Marshall
tonight.
Jr.
Thanks for
in the
having me.
house. If you guys are around Los Angeles, come see us. We got some fun stuff here. Come hit some baseballs. Come look at Bo's Corner over in this area. There's a lot of stuff that you need to see and be a part of. So thank you.
We love you guys. Have a good one.
Peace.